So guys, the crypto markets are trading sideways right now. The CPI data came out pretty much talking about inflation and how everything is going for the economy, and it looks quite bullish, pretty much based off of the percentages that were anticipated and exactly what came out. Right now, price action is trading sideways for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and altcoins have been pumping and dumping, pretty much seeing a little bit of sideways consolidation after pretty much having a huge giant rip up. And today, I want to talk about the CPI data, how it's having an effect on the crypto markets, and what you should be anticipating if you're an altcoin investor. Overall though, if you're new to my channel, go check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and exactly how you need to position yourself so that you can overall see those crazy gains. Right now, we have been seeing a lot of pumps and dumps in the market, pretty much with the trade deal, a lot of data that's been coming out with the FOMC, CPI data, all of this information, guys, and keeping up with all of the day-to-day and how this stuff comes out is super important to anticipate the price action around key assets. I've been day trading, making some decent gains. Last time you guys saw this, it was sitting at around $200, ran it up pretty significantly today. But guys, it's pretty much based off of knowing the news events and exactly what is going to be happening and how altcoin investors and crypto investors in general feel. I'm going to walk you guys through that information, key price action, and exactly what you need to be aware of. Let's jump into it. So guys, like how I said, the price action in the markets has been trading sideways, even though we had some positive news today with the CPI data that came out. So overall though, Bitcoin is trading sideways, sitting at around 103,000. Ethereum is sitting at around 2697 right now, also just kind of trading sideways, pretty much off of this resistance level that we have been seeing. We're actually going to take a deeper look into the Ethereum chart and the imbalance that we've been seeing prior to February and everything like that. So overall, right now, guys, price action is choppy sideways, wondering exactly what's going to be happening. Everyone's anticipating more positive price action. Ethereum has been causing altcoins to, pump and dump. Right now, altcoins, though, have just been ripping up quite significantly. And if you're invested in altcoins, you've been seeing all of the green in the markets. Right now, though, Bitcoin dominance is really pointing to the fact that it is crashing down quite significantly. Liquidity is moving out of Bitcoin and into altcoins, just pretty much based off of how everyone is feeling with risk assets and how altcoins are currently performing. USDT dominance is also pointing to the fact that liquidity is being squeezed. Everyone is getting out of stable coins and Ethereum and slowly moving that liquidity into altcoins, anticipating the huge run up moving into the end of May, moving into June as well. Overall though, what's causing all of the fluctuations in the markets, sideways price action, multiple different things, guys. The trade war with Trump, multiple different talks with that negotiation, and then on top of that, more news events that are pretty much pointing to the fact on how inflation is looking, a recession, and multiple other different things. But overall, the Quebec letter talked about it, breaking April CPI inflation falls to 2.3% below expectations of 2.4%. Core CPI inflation was 2.8%, in line with expectations of 2.8%. This marks the third straight month decline in headline inflation. Inflation continues to cool down despite the trade war, and the Quebec letter talks about it more. This marks the smallest year-over-year increase in CPI data since February of 2021. Furthermore, this is the first set of inflation data inclusive of the April 2nd reciprocal tariffs. All eyes are on the Fed, and this is really important, guys, because now everyone's wondering exactly what the Fed is going to be doing based off of these specific percentage zones and overall exactly how everyone's feeling in the economy. Right now, the fear and greed index rose to around 66%, which is greed, and now trades at 62 points above its April 2025 low. So sentiment is starting to shift, guys. There's multiple different things really point to the fact on how liquidity is moving for crypto and why it's super bullish right now. But there's a lot of things pointing to the fact on how the economy is doing based off of exactly some returns, as well as overall some actual things like global trading, how investors are allocating their positions, and then also more news events from Trump and also other specific things that are pointing to the fact on how the Fed is going to be anticipating rate cuts. Right now, following the US-China trade deal, markets now only expect 2 interest rate cuts in 2025. Pretty much based off of the CPI data and more information that we're starting to get. President Trump is talking about Powell. He says, what is wrong with too late Powell? He says Chair Powell is not fair to America, and he refuses to cut interest rates. And Donald Trump just goes on, no inflation, and prices of gasoline, energy, groceries, and practically everything else are down. The Fed must lower the rate like Europe and China have done. What is wrong with too late, pal? Not fair to America, which is ready to blossom. Just let it all happen, and it will be a beautiful thing. And Trump has been talking about Fed cuts because, bonds and yields are going up quite significantly right now. And there's a lot of things point to the fact that we're starting to see, red in variations of the market, and also what we're currently seeing for the U.S. Treasury and how right now the U.S. government cannot afford a recession. So this is super bullish, point to the fact that rate cuts more than likely are going to need to be happening. It's just a matter of time as to when that will happen. Crypto Mitch now talked about the CPI data, lower than expected, inflation's calming down, and it's going to ease investors a little bit. This would also signal that the Fed can lower interest rates, which this is what everyone is anticipating. The cocktail for Bitcoin to go ballistic is getting there. Crypto Mitch now gives a few more perspectives around altcoins and Ethereum and exactly what he's anticipating. It's always interesting to see that retail will only come back when Bitcoin passes the all-time high, and altcoins have already tripled. It's going to happen, and they'll end up buying bags too high. The markets haven't really started as of yet, and this is so true. I'm telling a few different people that have already allocated to the markets to just wait. I know you pretty much, allocated to your positions. You're seeing the ups, you're seeing the downs, but you need to pretty much be patient and just wait for liquidity to finally move. Once we see that, it's going to get super crazy. Crypto mentioned now, renminbi keeps grinding higher. Ethereum keeps grinding higher. Generally glad to see that Bitcoin is approaching a new all-time high in the coming 1 to 2 weeks, and Ethereum outperforms. So right now everyone's super bullish based off of how Ethereum is performing, based off of the price action that we're seeing, the CPI data that came out, but we need more information. We need to see how everything's going to be reacting, even the Fed. Crypto Intelligence X gives his perspective on exactly the cool off that we've been seeing after this huge rip up, and I completely agree with this. He says market cool off is still in progress, waiting for a clear trend reversal on low time frame to build new long positions. Coin of main interest XRP, not me. I'm looking at altcoins right now, but this is so true on the long time frame. We really need to see exactly how that price action is looking, if we deviated for the daily, or even how it's looked closing out the week. And right now, guys, everything, if you start to zoom more out, is seeing a little bit of consolidation. And this is super important to understand. If you're trying to long during this time and do different things, you can really get wrecked, which is why it's super important to understand the perspectives and why everyone understands the cool off that's taking place right now. Justin Bennett talks about the price action around Ethereum. And this is a little, I would say bearish, but you can also view this as bullish as well. ETH is closing in on that February imbalance, and this is where pretty much the price action that we've been seeing. I'm not too sure if he's talking about the imbalance on the price action that with this huge rip up that we have been seeing in the past few weeks, or overall exactly the deviations that have been taking place. If we hit this zone, a lot of people are wondering if this is going to be a new zone of resistance, and if so, are we going to be deviating, or are we going to blow past this region? A lot of people have different perspectives, which is why in the comment section everyone's saying different things in terms of, oh, so this is going to happen or this is going to happen. And at the end of the day, guys, it's super important to just keep up with the day-to-day price action, the news events, and how everything is looking. Right now, guys, crypto markets are trading sideways, pumping up, pumping down. Everything overall is just waiting for more information based off of exactly all the data that is coming out, how the Fed is going to react, and multiple other different areas. Right now, though, altcoins, guys, for the last 7 days, altcoins have been pumping up quite significantly. I've been telling you guys to allocate to altcoins for the past few months, and if you have, you are making some decent gains right now. But if you didn't, you are sidelined and probably allocating and also wondering, is this the best time? Is it not the best time? I think going back into what Crypto Mission now says, I think a lot of people overall aren't really anticipating exactly the price action. And I think a lot of people, are waiting for Bitcoin to reach a new all-time high and altcoins to triple before they start allocating. So I think you're in a pretty good position. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I'm just pretty much dollar cost averaging and waiting for the full liquidity to move over. But swiping everything to the side, guys, right now is a super important time to start keeping up with the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, and all that good stuff. CPI data came out, points to the fact that the Fed should be looking into rate cuts. We've been seeing China print a lot of money, multiple different countries print money, pretty much based off of exactly how inflation is looking, a recession, and all this other crazy stuff. Right now, the U.S. cannot afford a recession, so rate cuts are going to be happening. It's just a matter of when that's going to happen. And right now, liquidity is going crazy, slowly pouring back into altcoins. You just need to have the patience to wait for everything to fully move over. And I'm going to keep you guys updated with all that information and when I plan to sell a little bit of my portfolio, more than likely in the next few weeks or month or so. Overall, though, if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and exactly how you can position yourself to make those crazy gains. Guys, we're on the verge of altcoin season, waiting for more news events, waiting for more data, waiting for more concrete evidence that we're moving forward, either with the trade deal, rate cuts, or something else that's going to pour liquidity into the markets. Right now, super important to lock in, guys. I know you're waiting for altcoin season, but it's not going to happen if you capitulate your bags and get out and hope for something else. Overall, though, stay tuned, guys. I'm going to keep you guys updated with all the information you need to be aware of. Drop me a comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of my content. Let me know what you think of my perspective. What do you think is going to be happening with altcoins? When do you think we're going to be seeing rate cuts? Are there going to be rate cuts? Overall, drop your perspective down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.